Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. And we've seen that you make a gesture. Maybe I can have my first slide here. I'm excited to be here for a number of reasons. Because the first time I'm presenting here at Symposium in Amsterdam, and also because I feel at home. Because for the first time, I am among the tallest people in the world. And that doesn't happen to me very often. So this picture, I took it myself. It was like 6 months ago. I didn't even know I would be speaking here. And I was rushing in the LAX, Los Angeles airport, into the international area. And I saw that picture. I was like, whoa, I saw that display. And I thought, whoa, I want to take a picture of that, because the average Dutchman is just over 6 feet. That's in America, so that's 185 centimeters. And the average Dutch woman is like 175 or 173 centimeters. So I feel great, I feel at home. I grew up in Strasbourg at the crossroads of different languages, like Amsterdam. And I'm super excited to be presenting here. I'm going to be joined on stage in the next 50 minutes by Waldo on the technology side from Adobe, but most importantly also by Henk from Elsevier, who's going to share how a big organization like Elsevier is going through the reinvention. So we showed you that last year, and that was an experience that I had personally on an airplane, where here you see a product that's a watch that's actually in a magazine. It's in a Delta airline magazine, actually. And you could take the watch out, punch it out, and wear it, and experience it. And if you had internet, right, you were able to scan that code bar there, and that 3D bar code, and you were able to go online, right? So that was, we felt pretty cool to share, because it combines that offline and online digital channels. But it sounds a little bit last year, right? It sounds a little bit passé. So what we wanted to do this year is show you the winner of the Cannes Lion Creativity Festival that happens every year in June on the French Riviera, and Adobe is a sponsor there. And Nivea here is the brand, and they came up with that very interesting campaign where they, in a magazine that happens in Brazil, that campaign was run in Brazil, close to Rio, along in a segment that's along the beaches of Rio. And in that magazine, they actually have on the side there, you see there is some sort of a watch, a wearable device that you can take out, and you can actually wear, and it's water resistant. And what it does is that Nivea, as you know, is helping mothers and parents to protect their skin, but also to protect their kids. And Nivea came up with that idea where they were having that wearable device that you can detach from the magazine, and you can give it to your kids. And the objective is to have the kids run on the beach, but not go too far. And if you can see there on that app, you can actually have a radar, and the app notifies you when the kid is running away by themselves. So I felt that's pretty exciting, because it's like combining a lot of different channels, right? It's combining the oldest channel that's like print and offline with the newest channel that's an app. Here we have an app that's been built specifically for that, and at the same time it ties into the value of the brand, right? It ties into the protection. That protection theme, we help you protect your skin, but we also help you protect, in a broader way. So I think this is also part of that reinvention theme. And in the next, 50 minutes, we will walk you through with Elsevier, with our Adobe sales consultant Waldo, into, a number of those reinvention areas, because that's all new, right? It's all new to us. It's changing every day, and it's very different from how things used to be. Right here, we are probably in the 50s. The family, so 2 generations, are in front of the TV. And as a marketeer, things were pretty simple. You could use print ads, radio ads, TV commercials. You can allocate a budget. It was a very one way of doing marketing, right? Very controlled environment. Very one way here. A number of medias, limited number of channels, very curated content and prepared content for those channels. So easier than today. today, what happens is very chaotic, right? It's a world of information available for the consumers. The consumers have taken over the communication. The consumers have the megaphone right now. So we're going to walk you through some of those major disruptions happening in the world, and I'm going to give you a few examples. And the first one that was amazing to me when I came here in Amsterdam is at the airport. I saw a lot of Tesla cars, and actually a number of those cabs have are Teslas. And I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. So I'm a happy driver of one of those. And has anybody heard about OS 8 from Apple? Yeah, a few people, huh? Has anybody heard about OS 6 from Tesla? Less, have 1.5. No, there is a few people. So the first theme, the first key driver of disruption in marketing, I think is that trend of digital moving offline. Right? And that Tesla example that I wanted to include here, because I saw all those cars and I'm driving one, is a typical example of a car. It's a typical offline situation, but actually I'm connected in the car all the time, right? And with that new operating system, OS 6 from Tesla, it does some crazy things. Like I don't have any key anymore, I can get into the car, and soon you can drive the car just with your smartphone. But it does much more cooler things. Offline again, it knows my calendar. And since it knows my calendar, it can give me commute advice. Meaning in the morning when I sit in the car at 7:30, it knows I'm going to work, and it looks up the commute, and it tells me if there is a better way to get to work, which usually I know how to get to work. I don't need Google Maps to get to work. But if in case there is an accident or something, it's going to notify me proactively and tell me, hey, you should go this way, right? This is the way you should go. And that's pretty amazing. When I want to go to a meeting, I have one touch because it knows the calendar, it knows what is my next meeting. And so you see here how digital is disrupting the way we even behave offline. There's many examples like that I could share. When you walk into a branch, right, a financial services, a bank, is that an offline touch point or is that online? Because the clerk behind the desk actually has a screen. He knows you or she knows you, and he has there the next best offer, the next best product that they should offer you, right? So it's an offline environment, but at the same time can be considered like an online delivery of offers. Same happens in point-of-sale systems. You've probably seen a number of stores where you can get coupons, you can get recognized at the POS, at the cash register, and these are just exciting trends that are disrupting the way we're going to deliver offers, next best offers. The second trend here is mobile and context. Mark gave that example of that journey, right? It happened to me as well coming here. Again, on Delta Airlines, I go to the website to book my tickets, right? Once I have my ticket from the web, I'm in my bed in the evening 2 days ago, and I'm looking at doing the check-in into the flight. Then I'm getting into the cab, and in the cab I'm looking at on my cell phone, did I get upgraded? And when I get to the airport, I go through security with my cell phone, and I sit at the gate. And when I sit at the gate, I look at the screen. And in the US, you can see if you got upgraded on the screen, and then finally you get on the airplane with my smartphone. So you see that we have 5-6 devices, 5-6 touch points on different channels, all mobile, that need to be fully consistent. And this is just an unbelievable challenge for marketing people, for marketing organizations, and generally speaking, to deliver the best customer experience. I happen to have another of those devices that you see as a third driver. Right? We talked about mobile. Let's talk about another key driver of disruption is that, the Internet of Things. Is those devices, those connected devices. I know a number of people here are, probably partnering or working for Philips, who is doing major efforts into connecting, a lot of our daily devices to the internet. What was amazing me is, that device called a Nest that allows you to manage the temperature in your home. That's like a super basic device, has been totally disrupted by a company called Nest that knows my habits, right? It knows when I am at home, when my family is at home. It captures a lot of data about myself, about what I'm doing, about, is it too warm, too cold? And what was amazing me is that it also does that with the neighborhood, right? So you can compare your energy consumption with the neighborhood, etc., and you get those monthly notifications about telling you some tips, etc. What was amazing me the most is, who knows who purchased that company? Google purchased it $3.2 billion, right? And that's a marketing company who bought Nest. So you see how marketing is coming into every day of our lives, and I think this is very compelling here. So then the last trend that I illustrated here is what we call the millennial expectations, right? These are the younger generation. I have two of those at home. They only look at screens. Sometimes they look at me. Sometimes they interact with me. But it's unbelievable to see how they're into instant gratifications, and everything has to be real time, at their fingertips, across all the channels. For them, it is totally normal to start a movie on one device and go on another device, resume it there, and continue or finish on a third device, the TV, for example. And Mark has shown that deck. Right. These major disruption drivers are creating unease. They are creating performance anxiety. They're changing the way marketing works. But at the same time, this is a huge opportunity for us, right? Let's be able to grab that opportunity and look at what can we do there. Mark shared some of those numbers, so I'm not going to spend too much time there. But 2/3 of marketeers think that they won't succeed unless they have a digital play, a digital approach, right? So this is a major shift, and we've seen from 25% of the budgets to 35% of the budgets, but it's gonna go even further. But at the same time, the ideal marketeer says, yeah, we need to take more risks. 60% say that we need to take more risks, but only 47% are like ready to change the way they were doing their marketing. So it's pretty compelling. That tells us we need to do something. So what do we need to do? What can we do? So Adobe is here to help with a few ideas. So the first one we came up with is that idea about growth hacking. Does anybody know here in the room what growth hacking is? 1.5. So actually, I checked it out before I came here to Amsterdam, and there is a group called Amsterdam Growth Hackers. They got together for the first time in March, and they were like 25 people. And then they got together again, I think, in October 14th, and there were 90 people. I was like, whoa, this is growing. This is an interesting trend. So it's that concept, coming from Silicon Valley, about saying the new VP of marketing is actually a growth hacker. Wow. Okay, that's the new title for the VP of marketing. So there's that trend about taking things like web analytics, that's data, right? Creativity, that's content marketing. Combining it in multivariate testing and A/B testing, right? Doing that with search optimization and hacking a little bit out of that with social in the mix. So what happens, this has been invented by a number of startups that are not startups anymore, people like LinkedIn, like Facebook, obviously, like Dropbox, companies that have grown at the very beginning in a very lean way, right? It's the opposite of looking at, I need a marketing budget and I'm going to spend it on commercials and different, and print ads, et cetera, et cetera. It's looking at growth first. How can I augment my user base? How can I have more users out there at the lowest cost possible, and budget will come second? Instead of the classic way of doing marketing, I get me a marketing budget and I'm going to spend it. It's how can I get growth in marketing, and how can I make that growth happen, and we'll see about the budget later, in a very lean way. A typical example of that, you all know Airbnb, the famous booking and rental company. They really grew with growth hacking. That's another example where they hacked into Craigslist. Right? meaning there wasn't any integration, any API in Craigslist. What they did is they said, hey, if someone is a consumer, is advertising their apartments in Amsterdam, in Paris, whatever, it would be great to at the same time post it on Craigslist. That would be very convenient. And Craigslist has tens of millions of users already, so they have that user base. So what they did is they reverse engineered the code of Craigslist, because Craigslist didn't have APIs, and they managed to offer to their users, in a few clicks, you could publish on Craigslist at the same time. What does it do? It does great marketing. It immediately multiplies the effect that you have there, and they grew very fast thanks to that strategy. And you see, this is combining creativity, combining data, combining testing, and combining coding also. So there's a lot of people that say, marketing, and the new marketing is going to have much more engineers, is going to turn into, have specialized teams into, hacking into other systems and getting there. So that's one way of doing it, right? But that's probably not, the way that Fortune 500 companies can do. They should definitely look at the page of that playbook. We recommend that. But then there is, the more classic approach. And the more classic approach is to look at the, the standard 3 Ps: the people, the product, and the process. Right? Looking at those 3 Ps in Fortune 500 companies, that's a more a standard way of restructuring things. There was that great article in the Harvard Business Review in the July-August issue that I really recommend you to read. It's called The Ultimate Marketing Machine. And they were breaking things down into 3 different categories, right? Looking at the people approach first, they said we should put people into 3 major categories, right? There's the ones who think, right? The thinkers, the web analysts, the data modelers, people in charge of the privacy rules and the cooking, etc. There is the ones who feel, right? And the ones who feel are in press relations, are the UX, usability people, user experience people, and then there is the one who serve the customer as well, because customer service with social media has now become very close to marketing. Right? And then there is the doers, right? The ones who are really building the content, the designers, the web product specialists, the campaign managers, getting the campaigns out there, right? So you see, that is just an example of how the roles are being redefined in marketing and how this can contribute to the reinvention. So the new marketeer is looking very different, right? The new marketeer is at the crossroads of creativity and analytics, is bridging that and bringing it together, right? And new roles are defined. So we could keep going on like that with a number of slides. But what I thought would be exciting for all of us here is to have a customer talk about it. Right? Bring on stage a customer who is going through that transformation, to that reinvention journey. And so I'm very happy to welcome on stage Henk Gerzee, VP of eBusiness at Elsevier.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Stephan. Most of you, especially people from the Netherlands, think of Elsevier as the weekly magazine. And if you look at this slide, it indicates that we've got 30 million customers or stakeholders. So actually, I'm not talking about the magazine, not about the weekly magazine. I'm talking about Elsevier, the division of Read Elsevier. And what we do is we lead the way when it comes to products for the world of health, science, and technology. We excel in our product marketing, and actually what we also wanted to achieve is actually lead the way for customer marketing. And that's what the challenge is for Elsevier. Because if we look at our organization, we are a multidimensional matrix organization. We have segment divisions, we have regional divisions, and we have product divisions, all serving the same customer. So what is the impact for the customer of that setup? The impact is that all the different business units approach with the best intention the same customer. So in 2012, we sent in more than 1 million email addresses, 6 emails or more per week. That's also kind of spamming the customer. It is suboptimal. In many cases, the messaging was irrelevant, not consistent, and different in all the different touchpoints. So we had a problem to solve. And actually what I'm going to share with you is the story of Elsevier, how we are moving away from this fragmented setup, focus on one Elsevier customer, and also transforming the organization, allowing that focus. We defined a strategy. Here you will find our customer vision. What we want to achieve is to offer our customers a relevant, valuable and consistent experience across all the touchpoints. And I think we all want to achieve that within our organization, so that's not something new. The challenge was, how are we getting there given our organization? We deployed for all capabilities in the marketing framework different technologies. So you will see here at the bottom of the slide, you will see here e-commerce, you will see marketing automation, customer databases, product and content catalogs with different sales enablement systems and different web analytics systems. So coming from 20 e-commerce systems to 20 marketing automation platforms, etc., it's impossible to offer that right experience to the customer. So from the One Elsevier strategy, we said, okay, let's consolidate the technologies to the best-in-class systems. So we did so for marketing automation, to deliver that excellent customer experience. And for marketing automation, that means that we move away from a fragmented setup from systems. So you'll see here that in 2013, we used quite a variety of marketing automation platforms. In 2014, it's already reused massively. So when we speak today, we've got 50% of all the Elsevier marketeers working off one instance of Adobe Campaign. And in 2015, it will be 100%. And it actually allows us to deliver our customers a way better experience. It allows us actually to comply to data protection regulations. With a highly fragmented setup, that's very hard to control. It allows us to reinforce our brand, make all the different forms we're using from our email systems seamless. It allows us to drive massive technology savings. Massive. You can imagine if you have to pay license fees for all the systems at the top of the slide, that's quite costly. And from an organizational perspective, it allows us to work way more effectively. We can build the right skills around one solution and support centrally with highly specialized skills, supporting the different regions and product units to get most out of their marketing efforts. So this is what we have achieved so far. We are continuing with the roadmap. It's not only about marketing automation, it is also about deploying one analytics system. We're using Adobe Analytics also for that, integrating that piece in the digital framework for our customers. So I'm very confident that in 2017 we can offer our customers a great experience, so that next to product leading the way for products, we can also lead the way for customer marketing.